Ching Chang Chong. Today is my cheat day, so that means cheese tart for me. Actually amazing. If only human beings could stay healthy, sitting all day and only eating cheese tarts, that'd be amazing. Actually, that wouldn't be amazing now that I think about it, because then all the fat people on this planet would just sit on their butts all day, lazy, watching YouTube and just, not exercising. They would all be, 6'2" buff people. We can't have that. They need to work for that. Bunch of lazy fat people. I do feel a little bit sick eating this, but at least I'm not those fat people who sit on their chairs all day, munching on, crisps and drinking Coca-Cola. And my body's gonna have fun digesting this. Time to make a video. Hey, what's up you nerds? Once again, welcome back to another video on Eugene L's channel. I'm wearing my signature green t-shirt that says Earth Warriors because I love the planet so much. Save the planet. Every time I try and make these videos, I'm going to try and wear the signature Earth Warriors green t-shirt. I love green. It's just amazing. And today, it's going to be another storytelling video, yay! And today's story, as you can't already tell, it's going to be a very, very amazing story. I can barely contain myself right now due to the amount of excitement. I'm so excited for this story, I'm just going to jump straight in. I'm not even going to just talk some rubbish about some Chinese phones. And also, before I start, now I'm using the back camera of my Huawei Chinese phone. Sorry, I just can't resist making fun of some Chinese phones, even for 1 second. I don't know how big of a difference that's going to make. Hopefully, it's going to be a little bit, because if not, my video is going to be so low quality that probably no one's going to watch it. Also, I've seen a comment, one of my friends commented on the video that it's really weird when I look at the screen instead of looking at the camera lens itself when I'm recording. That's because the camera lens is so small, it is really weird to look at it. I'm trying my best to look at it right now. It just looks like I'm staring at two little holes covered behind some black glass. It's very weird recording like this, but for the sake of viewers, I'm going to do it. Right, let's jump straight into the story. I just said I wasn't going to be talking about any rubbish, but I just did. So the story happened, not going to say when, could be a year ago, could be 10 years ago, could be 2 months ago, it could be 5 hours ago. There was one morning, I came into school, normal day. So in that school, we would go into a homeroom for about 15 minutes. All of us had to arrive at 9 o'clock. So I would normally wake up at 7 o'clock, but that's still not enough sleep for me for some reason, because I need a lot of sleep. So I arrived a little bit late because, obviously I'm a little bit tired and my driver was a little bit late. I came into, homeroom, my class, I was just, in the greatest mood, the kind of mood you're in when you know that you're going to be trapped in a building for the next 7 hours doing something you don't like. That kind of happiness. And then there's this friend. Okay, I wouldn't call him a friend anymore, but there's this guy, okay, there's a student in my class. His name is given the name Dickwad. I think you can already tell what kind of person he is, judging by the name I gave him. But let me kind of describe his personality. Dickwad, very nice guy, just the best person, the best student, the best A-star student in our school. He always cheers people up with his insults. He sends petty little insults at people's ways to try and cheer them up, because everyone knows tiny little insults cheer people up, especially in the morning. I'm not going to go into exact detail on what he said to me. I used to sit with Dickwad, so, you may be asking why. But it's just some routine, normal school routine that I stick to. But I don't necessarily like him. Now I don't sit with him anymore, though. Thank God. But then when I sat down, I just thought, okay, it's just 10 minutes in this homeroom class, 10 minutes of, horrible time sitting with dickwad, it'd be over. I'd just go, have some fun swimming. And then, of course, you'd send some petty insults my way. And then that morning I was feeling especially happy, that kind of happiness you have when you don't get enough sleep and you'll be trapped in a building for the next few hours against your will. So he sent some petty insults my way. I got a little bit furious. I'm not going to go into what kind of petty insults he said, because that'd take up too much time, but it was kind of petty, to be honest, and I do blame myself. I shouldn't have gotten angry, but like I said, I was very happy that morning, very cheerful. Basically, I just threatened him. I said, you better shut the F up before I F you up. Gotta censor the F words because YouTube doesn't like that. My video probably won't get promoted. I told him to shut up before I F him up. And then he said, try me then. And then, I jabbed him lightly, shoved him after the class. We had to get up. So I kept shoving him. And then, okay, to be fair, I did jab him lightly in the chest first. But when he stood up, he still kept saying, come at me. And then there was this catalyst, I'll give him the name Richard. He's a very nice guy. Yeah, totally nice guy. So he was just basically the catalyst, trying to get, steer up the situation, Morning atmosphere in school, very boring. He's trying to stir up some drama. So he kept saying, hey, go after him, man. He said you're weak or whatever. So obviously when we got up, I didn't punch him yet. I kept shoving him. How before you fight someone, you're like, hey, yo, what's up? And you just go shove someone. Yeah, that kind of shoving. Kind of hard. You could just, constantly shoving him, making him lose balance. And then, but there was the end of a homeroom, so we left the class, but then even afterwards, I still kept shoving him. You may be asking, why are you such a bully? Why you bully people? Dickwad, like I said, he's a very nice guy. He always sends petty insults at so many certain people's ways, to cheer him up, obviously, gonna need that happiness every once in a while that he gives with his insults. He's always sent insults my way, and normally I wouldn't get mad because they're just so petty. He can tell he's trying to annoy you. Like I said before, I was just so happy that morning that I was just not having it. But then after a while of shoving him, he threw a fist onto my neck. I'm not sure if it was on purpose. Maybe it was meant for my face, but it hit my neck, I remember. Then I think I jabbed him with my left hand, and I was wearing a watch at the time. It was not that expensive, like Rolex or whatever, but it still cost like $500 US. So, when I punched him, it came loose, and I didn't want to punch him hard again, just for it to fly away, because, $500 is still money, even though it's not like $5,000 Rolex. So afterwards, he kind of tried to walk away, but then I threatened him. I, put my fist in kind of like I'm gonna throw a left hook motion, so I just put that on his face when he was looking the other way. It's kind of like a sucker punch, but I didn't even put any force into it. I was just putting it really hard against his face. It's like, you better watch your mouth or something like that. And then he pushed my hand away, and he said, you better not touch me. A little advice to Dickwad if he's watching this: if you don't want people to put their hands on you, keep your bloody mouth shut, or preferably keep your little tiny eyes shut, and then go into like a grave and sleep forever. Then no one would put their hands on you. But then after all that drama going on, we grappled for a bit. I got a little cut on my arm, not really that big of a deal, I don't really care. But then the homeroom teacher, who just dismissed us from our homeroom class, she saw what was going on because our doors, they're glass, so the teacher could see through them. Very sad. So she told, me and Dickwad to go into the class, and Richard as well, like I mentioned before. Richard, like I said, he was a catalyst, but the teacher thought he was just a witness there. Richard, he did try and stop us from getting a little bit more physical, but he was kind of like, adding more paper and logs into a flame, but when it gets a bit too big, he might try and put it out a little bit with some sprinkles of water. So all three of us went into the class, and then the teacher berated both of us. She berated Dickwad for trying to wound me up early in the morning when everyone's tired, and also berated me for, getting physical. No matter what, no matter how angry I am, I can't get physical, yada yada yada, stuff like that. Normally in secondary school, teachers say to the students, you can't fight, gotta get them A stars. But then afterwards, we just go to our respective classes. I went swimming. Then afterwards, we had break after the first period, about an hour later. Like I said before, I sit on Dickwad's table. There's only I think like 4 people sit on it, and there's like 2 other lunch tables, kind of like canteen or cafeteria, you guys would call it in America. We call it canteen because we're cultured people. So there was like two other canteen tables where there's just packed with people, at least 15 per table, and then there's our table with usually 4 people, and normally sit there because it's peaceful and quiet. No, me and my friend, let's just give him the name Adam, we sat there first, and then eventually I saw Dickwad and his, boyfriend come over. I'm just gonna refer to the other guy that Dickwad hangs out with as Dickwad's boyfriend. So they came over, Dickwad's boyfriend sat like with us, but then the table, it was kind of shaped like really long. So I was sitting here at the other end with Adam and Dickwad's boyfriend, and then Dickwad was sitting at the very end. I'm guessing to avoid me. I wanted to avoid him too, but there's a catalyst. There's always a catalyst in our school. The catalyst himself, Richard, came over, and then he tried to provoke me again into not beating him up, to beat Dickwad up, because he wanted to see some drama. So he kept saying, "Hey yo, he said you were weak, man. You need to fight right now. Let's fight. Let's end this. Do this like men." And Dickwad was kind of looking at his phone, and obviously, even though it was 1 hour later, I was still really annoyed. You guys might say, this all could have been avoided if you didn't get angry and you, stop trash talking. Well, like I said, it was in the morning. I was just very happy, in the best mood to deal with people throwing petty insults my way. But I do admit I was at fault. I shouldn't have gotten angry, but yeah, things happen. And then the catalyst, Richard, constantly tried provoking me. To be fair to Dickwad, he finally kept his mouth shut. He's sitting at the very end of the table. He's looking at his phone, presumably. Richard was provoking me into trash talking Dickwad, and then I did because I was still annoyed. So I kept, throwing trash talks his way. Normal secondary trash talks, like making fun of each other's mums. I don't know what our mums did to deserve this, but apparently everyone does it. So I may as well do it. And I talked about how he was weak and how I would F him up if I did fight him. And then, whilst trash talking, so weirdly, funnily, Richard said, "Hey, move closer, he can't hear you." So I thought, you know what, I'm going to intimidate this kid once and for all so he would stop sending petty insults my way when I'm in a really great mood. So I went over, sat like across the table, moved across the table, sat right next to him. And then he was, just sitting there still looking at his phone. But he was asking me, "Hey, you have more?" Yeah, keep saying. And I was still just thinking about every possible way to trash talk him. And he just kept saying, yeah, any more, keep coming. I found this kind of weird. But then I caught a glimpse of what he was looking at on his phone. Like I said before, he was constantly looking at his phone. I caught a glimpse. He was recording me. When I found out about this, I don't know what words to describe this conspiracy. It was quite clear he worked with Richard in order to set me up. Richard, it's quite obvious. Richard said, "Hey, move closer, he can't hear you." He was trying to, make my trash talk sound clearer on his recording device. So I found out he was recording. Immediately, I just knew what was going on. The catalyst, Richard, was trying to make me fight him, and he would have the recording, and then if we did get into trouble, which we will, because we'll be fighting in the canteen or the cafeteria publicly, and when we're in the office, he's going to show evidence of me trash talking him, and he's going to say it's self-defense, even though he's trash talked everyone all the time. So I was like, okay, calm down, even though I really wanted to rip his face apart. And I calmed down. I was like, okay, keep calm, and I didn't take any action. Because obviously if I did take action, I'd be the one getting into trouble, not him. He might get into trouble for rounding me up earlier, but not that much. And at that point, I still kept throwing insults his way. I still kept trash talking him. What's the difference between 5 minutes of trash talking and 8 minutes of trash talking? It's still the same. So I kept throwing my insults his way because I just wanted to trash talk him because he's such a nice guy. So I let him record a little bit more, and then the catalyst Richard was still trying really hard to provoke me, but when it was clear I wasn't going to fight, he stood up and left. And then when he was walking away, Richard was still constantly provoking me to fight him, and I was just like, yeah, F this guy, F these two people, I'm not going to fight him. These guys are just such nice people trying to set me up. This conspiracy, there's not one word to describe how this is. I think it makes me want to physically vomit out all of my organs, literally every bit of organ, my heart, my liver, my intestines, my kidneys, my everything. Makes me want to vomit all of it out and then cut off my penis. Yeah, I think that phrase is the best way to describe how utterly scummy this plan was. You know, I do really want to kill both of them. Like, if I had a button, right, if I could press it and then it would just kill both of them, I would. You know, this conspiracy makes me want to rip all of their jaws out. Both of them. Both their jaws off. Gotta say though, very smart plan. But, you know, I found out they think I'm 8-brained, you know. I'm just some guy, you know, tall but 8-brained, you know, those kind of people running around the savannah throwing spears at elephants and then, you know, cutting them out and eating them. They think I'm that kind of person. You know? They think I'm some early Homo sapien throwing spears at animals, hunting them from 100,000 years ago. But sorry, I'm not stupid. But I would very well like to hunt animals with spears, because that sounds like a lot of fun. But I gotta say, I'm gonna give props to you guys. That plan was amazing. Had it worked, it's a good thing I found out about it. Give credit to where credit's due, you know. These guys are very scummy people. They're able to cook up such a plan. They're very smart. Oh, that was a lot to talk about. There we go. That feels better. Right, that's the end of the video. I have nothing to talk about anymore. I have no Chinese phones or whatever to talk about. So I guess this video is just mainly the story. Right then, let me know if you found this story interesting. And also, like, subscribe, press the bell button. Okay, I'm kidding. All jokes aside, thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you still want to watch these kind of videos. Anyways, enough said. Bye.